Welcome back to all our friends, family, and yes, even our foes. To the Foxx Den Sports Podcast, where Todd and his sports-passionate kids are ready to bring you the latest updates and insights on all things sports. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the show.
Welcome back to the Foxx Den Sports Podcast, along with Kellen, Garrett, and the Den's Enforcer, Clay Bainch McDonald. I am the Podfather, when we are the Foxx Den, and we are having our annual top 32 quarterback rankings. We've done it every year since we've been on. We're getting ready to go on year 5 here pretty soon. In January will be the 5th year. With that being said, I'm going to turn it over to Garrett, and he's going to lead the way.
Welcome to the 2026 quarterback ranking for the NFL, the annual ranking that anybody and everybody should care about because most of the time it's the most accurate. On the panel today, we have myself, we got Kellen, Clay, and Todd. That is the order we will be going through all the way from 32 down to see who number 1 is. And I got to tell you, there's not a lot of matching orders. It's very interesting. Later in the episode, we will go through the biggest gaps and also the average rankings as well. So that's something to look forward to. But let's just go ahead and get started. Number 32, I've got the one and only Deshaun Watson. This guy just sucks on and off the field. He's not good. He had one good year for the Houston Texans, and then he got injured, and then everyone thought he was the best thing since sliced bread. Got paid, got traded, and hasn't done anything. I don't think he's the best quarterback on that team, which is saying a lot because it's Cleveland. But I think he is a horrible quarterback, and I wasn't even that high on him after that one good year in Houston. Mr. Kellen.
Geno Smith. I hate Geno Smith. I think he's garbage. I can name probably 45 quarterbacks better than him in the NFL. I think most teams have a better backup. I just think he's terrible. He's overstayed his welcome in the NFL. I don't know how this man still has a starting job. So no matter what, I knew I had to put him at 32.
Jacoby Brissett, he took over for Kyler Murray so they can ensure that they can get the number 1 draft pick this next year. That's why Jacoby Brissett is number 32.
Geno Smith, what can I say? He's cheeks. He's terrible. Kellen said it best. There's a lot of other quarterbacks better than him. I wanted to give him the benefit of the doubt a few years ago. I think it was when he was in Seattle, but then he goes to the Raiders and absolutely stunk. Just proved my point once again. And for me to put him here, that means he stinks.
Number 31, I got Tua. Honestly, I don't even know if he's going to be starting. I think it's still up in the air on if it's him or Penix or even this undrafted rookie from what I've been seeing. But this guy stinks for being as highly drafted and so much praise for a few years for really no reason. He stinks. And I think we're seeing that in camp. He's getting exposed. And I just think he doesn't have the it factor to play quarterback in the NFL. And to Kellen's point about Geno, I don't know how this dude still is starting. Potentially. So,
yeah, I got Tyler Shuck. I don't know how I even know how to say it.
Something like that.
He's okay. He exceeded expectations, but that doesn't mean much. He's on a team with no quarterbacks. He's on a Spencer Rattler. I think he could potentially move up this ranking. I think he could have an okay year, but I'm not going to bet on it. So right now I got him at 31.
Shadur Sanders, you could put / Deshaun Watson, because honestly, when we were trying to rank 32, obviously picking one from every team, I think they're both bad. There's already talk of trading Shadur to somebody else for being a backup, maybe to Detroit behind Jared Goff. So he's never going to be an NFL quarterback.
Deshaun Watson, he's just terrible. He was good at one point. He was. I know Garrett thought it may have been a one-off, but because he was really good in college and he had some pretty decent years in Houston. And then all of a sudden it just hit the fan for the guy, and off-field distractions, injuries, and then that contract, which is absolutely ridiculous. But regardless, he can't play anymore, and he stinks.
Number 30, I got Jacoby. There's just nothing special, nothing exciting about him. I think Clay's right. I think he's a filler for a year, maybe two, depending on how this year goes. He is a guy that if he was your backup quarterback, you'd be pretty happy. That would be a pretty good backup quarterback. But if he's your starter, you're probably looking at around that sub 30 ranking in the Foxx Den Sports Podcast. So
I got Malik Willis. Honestly, when I was making the list, I forgot who it was, and I might have put him a couple higher. I don't think he's that great still, but he's also on the Dolphins. I don't think he's set up for success there, kind of like Cam Ward last season. I don't have high expectations.
It's almost the exact same reason. It just, when you see guys like Malik Willis, Jacoby Brissett, what are the Dolphins trying to do? Are they tanking? Are they trying to get better? Are they going to build the team around and then dump them? So I don't think he's a horrible quarterback. He's just in a dumpster fire of an organization right now.
I also have Malik Willis, and I don't think he's very good. Now, I will tell you, all these quarterbacks are better than a lot of people threw on the football. But when there's only 32 teams, and to Clay's point, there are some terrible organizations continuously that have bad quarterbacks. And unfortunately, the Dolphins are one of them. They are tanking. I wouldn't be surprised if they're trying to go for Arch Manning. Yeah, it's just my opinion. But I think Malik Willis, with some good coaching, would he be good? I don't think so. I think he's a backup, is what he is, and he's starting up for the Dolphins.
Number 29, I got Geno himself. Honestly, I think we're still just kind of at that phase where you're just deciding who sucks more. Well, like, that's just the way it is. I could put him at 32 just as easy as I could put him at 29. So I don't really have much else to say other than what was already said. I do think the reason I guess I could say I put him a little bit higher is just because he did have that 1 year that he did okay, and everybody below him hasn't even had that. So
I got Deshaun Watson. I don't think he's good, but below him I have Geno, Malik, and Tyler Shuck. So it's not like Gary said. You just got to decide who sucks more. And I think he had that best single season out of any of them. So he gets to go above them, but garbage.
I got Kirk Cousins. Technically,
that should say Las Vegas. I don't know why that says that. Yeah.
Yeah, I really, really like Kirk Cousins. After seeing him in a couple seasons of quarterback, I really like this dude. He's there to give some weeks to Mendoza to get a little trained, and then I think his time is on the back burner. But I thought that was a really good pickup on the Raiders to get him to be there with Mendoza, and so that's where I put Kirk Cousins.
I've got Tua. Tua stinks. He's just not very good. That's unfortunate. I wanted the guy to be good. He's just not. He's a backup as well. I'd take him as a backup. I wouldn't have a problem with him being my backup. He's just not a starter in the NFL. This is his second team, and he's with Atlanta. I think Penix, when he does come back and healthy, I think he's probably going to start. But the issue is you've got two quarterbacks between both of them who are injured all the time, and it's to no fault their own. But it's just unfortunate for him. I just don't think he's got the arm strength. I don't think he's got the talent to be an NFL starter, unfortunately.
28, I've got Malik Willis, unproven guy. He, if I'm not mistaken, went undefeated last year for Green Bay, which is mostly because they got a good defense, good offensive weapons, good head coach. Only reason I really have him this high is his athletic ability. I think he is pretty athletic, not much of a quarterback mind per se, but like Clay said, I don't really know what they're doing because they paid him a lot of money. And so it's one of those moves that it signifies that they're still wanting to win some games, but then it also signifies that they wouldn't mind if they lost some as well. I don't really know. I don't really get it.
I've got Penix. Honestly, wasn't sure who's going to be starting and going to be the primary quarterback over there, so I just went with him. I don't think he's good. I never thought he was good in college, never thought he was going to be good in pro. So I think the only thing that puts him above some of those other guys is his youth, so he's got a little more athleticism still, but he's no good.
I got Cam Ward. I think he's not bad as a number one pick. I feel sorry for all these quarterbacks when they come out of college, win Heismans, do things, and get stuck with the worst team in the NFL, and they just get murdered for several years before they can. And sometimes they just don't recover from it. And so I think that's where Cam Ward is. I think the Titans just are not very good. So I don't think he's the type of person that can come in there and just dominate. He's It's kind of like Malik Willis was a couple of years ago. Just good, solid quarterback, but just with a terrible team.
I have Fernando Mendoza with no photo. Is who I've got. You could put my face in there. You wouldn't tell the difference. But regardless, here's the thing. I know Kirk Cousins is going to be the starter, but I think by the end of the year, I think Mendoza is going to start. I think he's got a huge upside. I think he's going to be a fantastic NFL quarterback. I think the Raiders are just an atrocious organization, unfortunately. Hopefully Tom Brady can have a bigger voice in that, with that whole entire organization, and get them up to speed. But I still think he's better than those other guys before, and I think Kirk Cousins would be even higher in my opinion. But that's who I have right there.
Number 27, I got Tyler Shuck. To Kellen's point, I think you could definitely go higher. He also could have been lower on mine. He did have a couple of good games last year, which I think for some reason everyone's just super, super high on him. He's got good weapons. He's got ETN, who's there now. He's got Chris Olave. But I just don't think I don't even think he's the best quarterback on that roster. Similar to Cleveland, I think Spencer's the better quarterback. I think it's one of those, he probably isn't the best leader, so players were trying to throw some games to get Shuck an opportunity, because Spencer honestly played pretty freaking good and should have had a couple more wins, considering I don't think he had any, maybe one. But
I've got Kirk Cousins. He'll be the starter to start out, so that's who I went with. But I think he's well past his prime. He doesn't have Justin Jefferson to throw to. He barely played the last year, maybe 2 years. So I don't expect much out of him. I think we all know Mendoza will be starting at some point, but I'm just going with the week 1 starter.
I got Geno here. I think, kind of like Garrett said early, just a little respect from having some decent years behind him. One really, really good year, honestly. And then he's been around for 13 or 14 years, so give him a little bit there. Pretty much it seems like everybody we're talking about right now, their teams are just bad.
Oh, yeah.
And that's why the quarterbacks aren't good. So I think he's kind of in the Jacoby Brissett, just fill in, and hopefully we can get one of these, supposed to be one of the best quarterback classes of all time coming out this next year. And so try to get one of those guys is where I'm thinking the Jets are headed.
I've got Jacoby Brissett. He's not very good. He's a journeyman quarterback. He started his career with New England and went to the Colts, Miami, Cleveland, Washington, Patriots again, and now he's at Arizona. He's just a placeholder. He's not very good. He's a backup. He's this decade's version of Tyrod Taylor, who was always running around to different teams. So that's who he is.
26, I've got Cam Ward. I like him. I think he's athletic. He has a decent arm on him. I love that they got Carnell Tate. I think he's going to be a stud, but it still is not going to help him make a sophomore leap or anything like that. I think Tennessee is just bad. They don't have a lot of weapons, honestly, outside of Carnell Tate. And I don't think this guy in general, as much as he tries to show the persona that he's a different breed of quarterback of just the drive, I think it's all fake and for show. I don't think he's got it in him. And so that's why I've got him at 26. Could be higher in the next couple of years. I could definitely see that, but he's never going to be a top 15 quarterback for sure.
I have Cam Ward as well. I think he has potential. He's just not on the right team, doesn't have anything around him, like Gary said. Better than the guys below him. I wish he could be in a better situation, but unfortunately, when you're the number 1 pick, it just happens.
I got Penix right here. Same with Tua. Penix is young, but he's young in experience. He's actually, I think, one of the older rookies or second-year guys ever in history of NFL football. But just injuries. He's got an arm, and I think the Falcons have got a lot, but they just smart to bring Tua in, but it just seems those guys are going to be rotating injuries all year long. So he's got a chance, but just because their team's not bad, but I didn't rank him very high for that reason.
26, I got Tyler Shuck. He doesn't even know how to spell his last name. So that's why that's the problem I have with this guy is, again, to Clay's point, and y'all have all said it. If you look at how these rankings are going, it's kind of like the bad organizations ranking. It would probably flow almost in the same area. I do think he had some good moments last year, and I think he has the potential to maybe be better. It's just how much time are they wanting to give this guy? But he's better than these other guys, but he's not that good.
25, I got Fernando, I'll be completely honest. Whenever I was making this list, I really forgot about Kirk Cousins, so I put Fernando. But this is for sure the highest ranking I've ever had a rookie outside of Caleb Williams. I have a lot of exciting expectations for him. I think they've surrounded him pretty dang well. I think the offensive line could take some work, but I love Brock Bowers. I think he's the best tight end in the NFL. I love Ashton Genty as long as he can take a leap. And defense is not great, but it's not the worst by any means. And I think Brady just having any involvement in his development is going to be huge. And I think Fernando's he's gonna reward from that a lot. But I think I love the guy. I think he's got the mental to play quarterback. But he is in a tough situation, like we keep mentioning at number one. He's there for a reason. So he's got a lot to get figured out there.
Jacoby Brissett, I've honestly always been a little higher on him than everybody. I think if he would have actually got playing time in his young days, he could have actually turned into something. I always wish the Colts would have held on to him back in the day. I think given him more time, he'll be decent. Again, just better than all the other bad quarterbacks. I don't think he's great or anything, but he's the best of the bad.
I got Tyler Shuck here, and I think the Saints were honestly shocked that he was even beat out Spencer Rattler, but then also that he was as decent as he was. He actually, on the fantasy rankings, the last, I want to say 7 games of the season, he was in the top 10 in stats. And so he kind of ended the year pretty decent. And so a little shocked. And like Garrett said earlier, he's got some decent weapons around him. So I think that helps him tremendously. But still in the bottom half.
Cam Ward. Best thing about Tennessee right now is they changed their colors to the old Oilers colors. I do think he's got potential. I know I got my chops busted last year when we did this. People were saying that they were going to keep receipts because I had him ranked so low. And it's more for the organization. It's more for this organization is not a good organization. They don't have a good front office. I hope that they do well. They've got Robert Saleh now. They've got a bunch of bald-headed coaches, which is fine, but he's got Brian Dable, I think, is his OC, so I think that'll help. But they're just bad, and it's not so much on him. I think he's got potential if you just get some people around him.
24, I got Daniel Jones. Honestly, better athlete than you would expect. He had a lot better couple of years than you'd expect as well. He kind of surprised a lot of people. That's a guy 2-3 years ago you for sure thought wouldn't even have a backup quarterback job, but he definitely earned some respect last year or year prior, I can't remember, in that first half of the season before he got injured. So I don't think he's going to have a crazy year. I don't see him going up much higher potentially, but yeah, I think he's just got a lot of good surrounding weapons, and Indianapolis is a pretty good organization. So
got Jackson Dart. I think for my list, this is the beginning of the good quarterbacks. I think he's got potential. Excited to see him have a season with Malik Neighbors as long as he plays.
Yeah, you just muted.
I think they've got a lot of youth and a lot of energy, so I think he's got nowhere to go but up over there.
Bryce Young, I think last year was probably his best season. He was one of those that definitely came in on a terrible, terrible team and got his team to the playoffs last year. So I think he's doing a little better. I just don't think he's quite one of those elite type people, but definitely has improved his stock from after last year.
I've got Daniel Jones. He got hurt last year. He had a really good season going on. I think with some decent coaching, he's a much better football player. To Kellen's point, I think this is where you're kind of starting to see some better organizations. There are going to be a few that are maybe not as strong as others at this point, but for here on up, it's pretty much some really good organizations. And I do like Daniel Jones. I hope he does very well. And he had a pretty decent year until he got hurt last year.
23, I got Kyler Murray. I want to put him up just for Oklahoma's sake. I want to put him up higher because he's still probably one of the best athletes in the NFL, but we just haven't seen anything. I do think he's going to potentially skyrocket up at this list with the head coach at Minnesota, and the receiving core that he has there is insane. So I'm really excited to see what he can do with that. But I think this for him is a make or break year for his career. I think if he has a good year, he could probably honestly be Minnesota's franchise guy. If not, I don't think he probably gets another starting spot for the rest of his career. But I love him, obviously, from being at Oklahoma, but he hasn't proved anything. And yeah.
Bo Nix. I think he's okay. I think he's good. He's just not great. He's got a good coach and a good defense and good team around him. So I think he kind of overachieved. I don't think he's the kind of guy that's going to go out there and win you a game. He can help by not losing you a game. So I think he's decent. I just don't think he's better than all the people that I have above him.
CJ Stroud had a good rookie year and then just hadn't done anything since. You talk about an organization that has put everything around him, incredible defense. He's had good running backs. He's had great receivers. They've seemed like they've had a lot of injuries on the offensive side, but he's had players and he just has not taken them to the next level. And he honestly should be there, especially after showing what he can do in that rookie season. But once you start getting good, then you start playing tougher teams every year. So I think that's what's got him. And he's not horrible, but he's definitely not anywhere close to living up what he can do, I think.
I've got Bryce Young. Never been a real big fan of his style of play. I think he's probably a nice kid. I think he had an amazing year last year. I'm anxious to see if he can capitalize on that again this season. He just plays for a team that is just kind of mayonnaise to me. Not that exciting, but hey, he had a decent year, but I still don't think he's that great.
Well, 22, I've got Sam Darnold. I was on the fence on this one because he obviously just won a Super Bowl. That's usually what plays the biggest factor for me in rankings, I think, as it should. But man, does this guy still just not impress me at all. I think, to everyone's point of these last couple picks, I think this is a team that has one of the best, if not the best defense in the league, one of the best receiving cores, good running back last year, good offensive line. Sam is probably not even top 10 on their team. And I think they're going to have a huge, huge drop off this year from the schedule standpoint, and also just record wise. I'd be shocked if they made the playoffs again. I've never been impressed with Sam. I think he did do good last year, obviously won a Super Bowl, but I would still take 21 other guys on my team instead of him.
I have Kyler Murray here. I think he has really good potential there with the organization, the coaching, the receivers. I really hope he skyrockets up my list. He just hasn't proven much. The rumors of being a little lazy in the preparation and film and all that, it's just kind of disappointing. I think he's one of the best athletes in the league. So if he can really take advantage of this opportunity, I could see him cracking the top 15 by the end of the season, but we'll see.
I got Bo Nix right here. Bo's definitely, to me, one of those that's I think he's probably hit a ceiling. We keep talking about organizations. He's got a great offensive coach with Gary Payton and a great defense around him and some decent weapons. Nothing great, but I think that's what made Bo Nix as high as he has. I don't think he's all that great of a quarterback, but he is definitely doing what he's asked to do, which sometimes is what you need.
I've got Jackson Dart, and I think he's only going to get better. I think he's going to have good coaching staff with him now. They got some surrounding him with some good players. He's just got to learn how to slide or get out of bounds, quit taking hits, unnecessary hits. I think he has the potential of everybody I've got in here to possibly jump up the most next year. But the last time I said that was about a player by the name of Kenny Pickett. So don't take too much into that.
Man, I remember that.
Remember that?
My gosh.
Terrible.
The fence.
21. I've got Jayden Daniels. I think this guy is the most overrated quarterback in the entire NFL. I think he is just the prototypical good 1 year, rookie year, and then probably in a couple years, I doubt he has a starting job. I think he's one-dimensional with his legs. I think the NFL exposes players faster than anything, obviously, in that nature. So you have to get better with your arm, and I don't think he will. I think he's, as we've seen this offseason, over-arrogant and overconfident in himself and his abilities, and I think that's going to play a factor in his development. And I think he's hit his ceiling, and I think we'll only see a regression from here. But by far the most overrated quarterback in the entire NFL. Last time I said this, I had Justin Fields way lower than everybody else, and we see where that went. So I'm pretty confident that in the next year or two, he will not be the starting quarterback at the Washington Commanders.
I can't believe you didn't have Jayden Daniels at number 5.
Oh, out of respect. Yeah.
I've got Rodgers. I think he's just old at this point. Obviously, one of the best quarterbacks of all time. So I have respect for him, but I just think he's old, unathletic, and it's just the Steelers have been very mediocre. Who knows, this season might be the year that everything changes, new coaching and all that, but I just don't have much high expectations for him and what I believe is his final season.
Yeah, Jordan Love, I just hadn't been too impressed with him, but he's just on a really good team with some good weapons, good coaching, good fans, everything. But he
Good
just
owners.
hadn't,
Good owners like myself. Just kidding.
yeah, he just hadn't quite taken it to the next level, and he's had plenty of opportunities.
I thought my 21 was outrageous.
I've got Aaron Rodgers also. Just simply, he's just not what he used to be. He's still, if he could stay healthy, I'd like to see how good this team does this year. Not that he gets hurt a lot, but it's just the fact that it's going to be interesting to see. He just doesn't have what he used to, and he's one of the best. He is, and I hope he has a really good year. I really do.
Number 20, I've got Trevor Lawrence. I am very upset with the development in his career outlook of what it should have been coming into the league, what he had for a couple years stint. And it looked like he could be a real up-and-coming young quarterback, but it's turned out that that's not the case. They keep trying to surround him. They've got a good defense. He's had good weapons, good surrounding. I think Doug Peterson definitely made him better for half a year, but I think he is a mediocre quarterback, and I think he does have the talent to be more than that, but until we see it, I just can't put him any higher than this. So
I've got CJ Stroud. I really liked him when he first came into the league. I wish the Colts had grabbed him, but he's done nothing but regress every season, it seems. I hope he does well, but I don't know. He hasn't impressed me at all, and it's disappointing.
I got Jackson Dart. A lot of people are pretty high on him. I think he's one of those that got lucky and got onto a decent team that got a lot better in the offseason with coaching, and he's going to have Scatterbo and Neighbors back, hopefully for him. But so I think he's got a lot of upside. He just hadn't really shown just enough to do much higher than top 20.
I've got Kyler Murray, and I think this is a big year for him, and him with teaming up with Kevin O'Connell, also known as KOC. I think he'll have a really good year this year. I'm really excited to see this. I think he's got a chance to shut some doubters up, but we'll see how it goes.
top 20, number 19, I've got Aaron Rodgers. As everyone's mentioned, the best is behind him. I still think he's a better quarterback than anyone below him, both arm talent-wise and just understanding the game and the position. I like what they've surrounded him with at the running back position, the receiver position. They still have one of the best defenses. It is going to be fun to watch him and Mike McCarthy get back together, but I'm not expecting anything big by any means. And just with that division and how good that division is, I'd be surprised if they made a playoff run.
I got Brock Purdy. I've never been impressed with him. I don't even think he's the best quarterback on his team. I think Mac Jones, the limited time he had last season, looked way better. I think it's just the system. A lot of guys can play on that team and for that coach and look really good. I think he's overrated. There was so much hype being the last pick in the draft and how well he played for being that pick, but I don't think he's that great. Obviously, got him above a lot of guys, but I don't know. I'm not impressed with him.
Aaron Rodgers, same thing as everybody else has been saying. Good quarterback. He's a Hall of Famer, but I don't think he's going to change. And I don't think the Kevin Tomlin leaving and all that stuff that or Mike Tomlin, is any of that's going to change that they're going to be 500, depending on how the division goes, make the playoffs or not. So have a good last season, dude.
I've got Trevor Lawrence, and Garrett said it probably best. This guy has a lot of potential, has had some bad coaching. He just hasn't lived up to the hype. I think the guy got a haircut, it'd help. He's not Samson, so get your haircut. That way you might be able to see a little bit better. I do think they're a better team than they have been. I think he's got a good coach with him. I think you can see this guy turn his career around a little bit. because he did good last year. I think he'll do it again this year. So we'll see. But I hope he does well.
Number 18, I've got Bryce Young. I think he's quite a bit higher than most everybody else, if I'm not mistaken. But I think he's a good quarterback. He's a good little athlete. I think they are surrounding him and trying to surround him with the best that they can for being in Carolina. And they'll never be able to get any of those highly touted free agents to make a huge impact. But he had a huge improvement last year. I don't know why we should expect any regression or stall out from him again, because they've continued to add improvement around him. And I think the head coach and him, I think they're going to probably work out pretty good. And if it does, it could be a pretty long time that they're playing and working together. So yeah, I got him at 18.
I've got Daniel Jones. Looked better last season than I expected, but I also knew that whole season was going to fall apart. I know part of it was injury, but I think they just kind of overachieved anyway. I think he's decent. What puts him above a lot of the guys below him is age, whether he's older than all the young guys or younger than some of the old guys or just better than the bad guys. But I think he's okay. I don't expect much out of this season, though.
I got Jared Goff here at 18. Just good, solid, average quarterback that's on a really good team. And unfortunately, I think if the Lions had a top 10 quarterback, I think that they'd probably be in the Super Bowl. But he misses a lot of throws. And I think he's a decent leader, but he just misses a lot of throws and on a really good team.
I've got Bo Nix. I don't know if I'm the highest ranked on Bo Nix. I can't remember. I think I've seen him on here at least twice. I don't remember if another one of you guys had him lower or higher. But regardless, I think it's a big year for him. It's to prove the doubters wrong and see if he can capitalize on what happened last season. He's got a tremendous coach, tremendous defense. He's got a tremendous team built around him. He's doing his job. But again, he's got to elevate this year, because if he didn't get hurt last year, they'd probably go to the Super Bowl. Not because of him, but they didn't go because truly he got hurt. He obviously does help with that team. So we'll see. Big year for him coming up. Hope he does well.
17, I've got Jackson Dart. I love the guy. I think he's going to have a huge, huge year. I think Scadaboo, I think Malik Neighbors, I think Theo Johnson, the offensive line, Jim Harbaugh. That defensive line is insane. I could see them genuinely winning the division. I think he would play a huge factor in that, obviously being the quarterback, but I think he's got the moxie and he's got the confidence and the arm talent. I think we've seen that both at Ole Miss and now at New York. And so I'm really, really excited to watch him play. And like Dad said, I could see him ending up a lot higher next year's rankings.
I've got Bryce Young here. I think he's shown a lot of improvement the past couple seasons. He's the polar opposite of CJ Stroud. Started off rough, obviously. When you're the number one pick on a terrible team, that's going to happen. But where CJ Stroud started off great, he's regressed. Bryce Young has progressed a lot. He drug a terrible team to the playoffs. I think and I hope that we just continue to see a lot of improvement in him, and maybe Carolina, who's a buns organization, might actually build something around him.
We got Sam Darnold right here. I haven't been super impressed with him, but he has had some good years. I thought Minnesota probably made a mistake by trading, and then he goes to a good organization. But I think he's finally kind of finding his way and just doing what the organization takes or asks of him. And when you're Super Bowl MVP, it's hard to not put you in the top 20. So he's definitely turned his career around the last few years.
I've also got Sam Darnold at number 17. He's a good quarterback. He got drafted by the Jets. They were terrible. So then goes to Carolina. They're terrible. Then goes to San Francisco, is back up, learns their system, goes to Minnesota, solid coach. Now he's at Seattle. And I get they've got a lot of good players. They got a lot of good defense. They got all that around him. But I still think he has the potential to even do better than he did last season. I really do. I think this is a good quarterback. I think once he finally got some coaching, everybody needs coaching. He just needed to be in a different atmosphere with better coaching to show you what he could do. And I think he's done a really good job on proving that.
16, I've got CJ Stroud. I think he's higher here than most anybody, if I'm not mistaken. But if you would ask me 2-3 years ago where I think he'd be by now, I probably would have said top 5, honestly. I probably would have taken him over any other quarterback in the NFL. And he has completely stalled out, arguably regressed. But I do still have a lot of faith in that he can get better. I think he definitely could, because that team still is so young, especially defensively, and they have still good weapons. I think we'll see an improving year from him compared to last year. But again, I think I had him. This is probably one of the lowest I've had him ranked since we've been doing this. So
I've got Jared Goff, a good quarterback, just not great. He's on a great team, great energy there. I think, but like Clay said, if they had a top 10 quarterback, they'd probably be winning these Super Bowls with the team that they have. So I think he's good. I think his team makes him look even better than what he actually is.
Daniel Jones right here. He's had a couple of good years in Indianapolis. I think he went there to be Anthony Richards' backup, and he ended up beating him out. And so the Colts have actually been pretty decent since he's been there. So that's why I got him where he's at right there.
CJ Stroud, I agree 100%. He has regressed each year. I think this is a big season for him. I think, but we'll find out in the first 5 or 6 weeks whether or not he's going to be the quarterback of the future for the Texans or not. And I want to see how strong and tough he is and if he can fight through it, but we'll see. I think he's got a shot. So we'll see. Hope he does well.
Number 15, into the top 15, I've got Baker Mayfield. Honestly, I wanted to go higher, but we're getting into that spot where most of the players are good quarterbacks. And then you get to grade, then you get to elite. So I think he's that really, for me, the first quarterback that I would classify as a good quarterback. I think he's had great receivers in Tampa. It'll be interesting to see, not that they lost Mike Evans, but I do think Aguka is going to take a huge leap, and they're not going to miss a step. But they are also in the easiest division in the entire NFL, and I think that has played a factor. And I just have to be realistic. Being a huge Baker Mayfield fan, I love the guy, but I think he could be higher. I really do. We need to see him make more of an effort when the games matter, given that they are in the easiest division, and they've been winning the division by only winning 8 or 9 games a year. So 15 is Baker.
I've got Trevor Lawrence. I hate Trevor Lawrence. I've always been low on him, always said he was going to be a bust. Honestly, this is higher than I would like to put him. I think for a number 1 pick, he's been nothing but a disappointment. He's shown not much improvement, hasn't really done much.
I've got Jayden Daniels at number 1 because I don't have
15.
the number 5 on there. No, I have him number 1 because the number 5.
Oh, sorry.
No, the number 5 out of respect,
respect.
for him. Again, big year for him. We'll see here pretty quickly whether or not if he was the quarterback he was 2 years ago or last year. We're going to find that out this season very quickly. And there's coaches' jobs on the line this year, and they've got to have him be successful. And if he is, great. If not, adios.
Okay, yeah, thanks. I think I had Kyler Murray probably ranked higher than the rest of y'all. So I think y'all said what needs to be said on him. It's do or die for him. I think he got put in a great situation. I think a lot of these quarterbacks we talked about is, man, if they just get started off poor, you just don't have much hope for them. And I think that's what happened with the Cardinals. Just terrible from the beginning, never had good players. And then I think when they finally got good, he got hurt that year. And so I'm excited to see him with all these weapons. We're going to find out how good he really is.
14, I've got Brock Purdy. Now, this is a guy that has a lot of great surroundings, a great organization, a great head coach. I guess not necessarily a great owner, but
no.
He's also one of those that Mac Jones came in, not took his job, but replaced him, and they played just as good. So how good is he really? The main reason I have him here is because ever since he started, especially as the Mr. Irrelevant, he has won. So you have to give him that respect. He hasn't won the big game, but they are year in, year out a threat with him at quarterback, and not necessarily because of him, but you still need a quarterback to be able to do that and say that. So I got him at 14, which is I think a pretty good spot for him.
I've got Jayden Daniels here. Could have put him at 15 out of respect, so bumped him up to 14. I think this year is the year he has to decide. Is he going to be the next CJ Stroud, or is he going to do something and improve? Because he fell off quick in the second year. I think he's lost a lot of respect and aura. He looks more like a clown now, and I think his opponents are going to know that. And I think he's got to figure out if he can't let that get in his head.
I got Trevor Lawrence right here. Y'all all said, hey, I got this guy, whoever moving up. I think he's going to be a top 10 quarterback by the end of this season, because he had an incredible season last year because he finally got a coach. Remember how good Liam Cohen did with Baker Mayfield at the Bucs, and now that's who his coach is. And so he's got weapons all around him. Running back situation, not real sure about that, but I think he's one of those that I think he's up for the next jump of all the quarterbacks in the NFL.
I've got Jared Goff at number 14. I think he's a solid quarterback. I don't think he's great by any means. I think as a number one pick, he should be better than what he is, but he's just happens to be on a pretty good team. But I also think that team, unfortunately, you can start seeing them slide back while some of these other guys are sliding up.
13, I've got Jalen Hurts. Pretty low for me, probably, again, being a Super Bowl winning quarterback and an Oklahoma alum. But I think, again, you've got to be real and understand he's not a great quarterback. I think he's a good quarterback. He's athletic. He's got an average arm. He's got an amazing team around him, and he has for a while. I think we are going to see a bit of a regression from that team this year, and it's probably just going to keep falling for a couple years at least. But I love him, but I wouldn't really necessarily love to have him as my quarterback on my team.
I've got Drake May. Honestly, I like this guy a lot. I think he's right on the cusp of my quarterbacks from going from pretty good to actually good, or I hope he improves and gets better and doesn't fall off. I think he had some high moments, so I'm really excited to see where his career takes him.
Brock Purdy, he's continued to impress me every year about how well he's doing in managing that team, because I've never seen a team as much as the 49ers deal with injuries over the last several years, both on offense and defense, and they've still been pretty decent. And I think that he does a really, really good job.
I've got Drake May. I think he's one of the up-and-comers. I think he's young. He's aggressive. He's a good quarterback. I think he's only going to get better. I've still got New England Patriots fatigue. I wish they weren't as good as they were, but he's probably got them to be relevant for the next 8 to 10 years.
Number 12, I got Bo Nix. I'll be completely honest. I thought I was going to be the lowest on him, so I'm kind of shocked that I have him the highest by a good margin. But he did have a great year last year. I do think that was his ceiling. Now, do I think he can repeat it? Yes, but it does help when you come in to the NFL at like 45 years old and you're probably already at that ceiling and you're not going to get any better. Great team surrounding him. I think he doesn't have a lot to worry about right now with the Raiders. He doesn't have a lot to worry about with the Chargers necessarily. It really is just Kansas City, and if he can beat them, which he did last year. So I don't think he's going to go any higher than this. But again, I am surprised I was the highest one because I thought I was going to be the lowest by a bit. But yeah.
I have Jordan Love. I think he's good. I think he's one of those guys that has a great team around him and a great coach. So I think it makes him look a little bit better. But I do think he is solid. I think he has great potential to move his way up. And I think he's got a chance of being a Super Bowl winning quarterback there. He just needs to take advantage of the team and the just the coaching and everything that he has around him.
Got Matt Stafford right here. A little bit of the Aaron Rodgers type comments, he's just right there on the edge of being done. But the guy's had an incredible career. He'll obviously be in the Hall of Fame, and he's might have the best offense in the NFL. And that's no doubt because of him. A good chunk of it. He's got good players all the way around him.
We've got Baker Mayfield. I'm anxious to see how well he does this year. No Mike Evans. He's betting on himself. No, with the contract situation going on. Big year for him. Big year for all these guys. I keep saying it, but it's a huge year for Baker. Will he be in Tampa next year, or will he be elsewhere? Soon to be seen.
Number 11, I've got Drake May. I don't think he's going to be higher. I like him. I think he's a good quarterback. I was really high on him coming into his rookie year. I think it helped that he had a dang easy schedule and also a really dang easy playoffs as well last year. I think, to be honest, that's the only reason they made the Super Bowl. But I do think that was a good entry into the NFL. So he's got a year under his belt. He didn't get smoked, and he's got a lot of good surrounding in it. It is a good organization, whether they're morally correct, but they do have a good organization.
I've got Jalen Hurts here. Kind of like Gary. I want to put him higher. He's got a Super Bowl. He's an Oklahoma guy. I don't think he's that great. He's had a great defense around him, good receivers, great line, great running back. He's made the most of it. I think this season he really needs to do something, show a little spark, because I could really see in the next couple of years he's not even the starting quarterback of Philly. I think their fans are too impatient. I love the guy. I just don't think he's actually an elite quarterback. He's a really good quarterback.
Justin Herbert right here. I like the guy. I think he does a good job. You're a top 11 quarterback in the NFL. That means you're pretty good. I think he's really, really tough. I think he's played through a lot of injuries. Just can't believe the Chargers hadn't taken that next level and really made a run in the playoffs. So until he does that, I don't think I'll ever let him crack the top 10.
I've got Caleb Williams. Hope he has a huge year. He's moving up. He's got a good coach. I think this team's going to be a force to be reckoned with for many years to come. I think his ceiling isn't even hit yet. I think he's going to even go higher. I think he's going to have a huge year.
Number 10, I've got Justin Herbert. I love the guy. I think he's got all the talent in the world. I think we've seen that, but he just hasn't been able to finish it and beat the guys that actually matter. I do think the new offensive coordinator, blanking on his name, Mike McDaniel maybe, I think that's going to make a huge improvement, but they also just lost their new center that they paid a lot of money for the entire year, and I think that's going to be a huge blow because that's really been the factor. His offensive line has just dwindled over the last few years, and he just hasn't ever had just a stellar receiving core, but I do think it's getting better. Defensive-wise, they're solid, but I want him to be good, and I want him to be higher, but until he has beaten the likes of a Mahomes, Burrow, Jackson, Allen, he doesn't need to be any higher than that.
I've got Sam Darnold at 10. I don't even remember. I know I have him higher than at least Gary. I don't remember if anybody else has said him. I think he's a pretty good quarterback. He's in the same type of quarterback to me as like Daniel Jones or a Jared Goff, Drake May, Bo Nix, those kind of guys. The only difference is he has won the Super Bowl. You could be a game manager, but if you actually go through and win the Super Bowl, he accomplished what he's trying to accomplish, obviously. So he gets to be in the top 10. He's shown a lot of improvement the last 2 years, and I think we might see a couple more good seasons out of him.
And Dak Prescott right here, making the top 10 in any league at any position. I think that's pretty good. I don't think he's worth the money that he makes. And I think he's a good quarterback, way exceeded expectations when they drafted him, was in the 4th round. But I just starting to wonder what kind of a leader he is, because the Cowboys have done zilch since he's been the quarterback. And all he does is just keep taking more and more money. Be a leader and take a pay cut, get you some more players, do something. Until he does that, it's going to be hard for me to move him, keep moving him up.
I've got Brock Purdy, and all he does is win. I don't think he's that great of a quarterback, but he's a winner. I think if you moved him to the Carolina Panthers or Colts or another team, I don't think they're going to get any better because of him. I think he's number 10. Still, I'm kind of talking myself out of it. Why even have him ranked in the top 10? He wins games, though. That's all I can tell you is he just wins football games.
Number 9, I've got Jared Goff. Speaking of a guy who just wins anywhere he's been so far, came in as the number 1 pick. And then within a couple of years, they were in the Super Bowl. Didn't win it, but he played a huge, huge factor in that. They had a great defense as well, but he's won there. He had one bad year with Detroit after he got traded, then they turned it around, and he's won at Detroit. I think he's a really good leader, really good game manager and quarterback, and every once in a while can win you a game, but I like him a lot. I don't expect him to do much more in his career. So I imagine this is probably his ceiling for me. But yeah, we'll see. I've liked what he's done so far for sure.
I've got Stafford. I've never been a big Stafford guy. I always thought he was kind of overrated and carried by some solid receivers. He obviously won the MVPs, so unfortunately I had to put him in the top 10. I think, though, age-wise, he's just going to it's about to be time for him to start regressing, and we're going to I believe we'll see that start this year, but I do think I've said that 3 years in a row, so we'll see.
Caleb Williams right here at number 9. I think immense amount of talent, immense amount of ability. I just got to see more of him to move him up past number 9. I think they won a lot of close games last year, and which a lot of it was because of him. But a lot of times when that happens, your following season isn't as good because you got lucky, won a few games that maybe you shouldn't have, and so we'll see. And that division's really good, so we'll see if he can string a couple of seasons together.
I've got Dak Prescott at 9. He's a really solid regular season quarterback, really solid fantasy quarterback. Got to do it on the field. He's got the offensive weapons. They're saying they've got the defense this year. To Clay's point, be a leader, be Tom Brady, take a pay cut, get better players, more players paid, whatever it takes. I just don't think he's not as good as he thinks he is.
Number 8, I have got Dak Prescott. I think analytically, if you look at him, he's probably the best quarterback in the NFL. Stats, touchdowns, how much money he makes and everything. But from a production standpoint of wins, yeah, not so much. So I think he's A. I think that's a good spot, roughly, as we've seen with all of our rankings. He's got, in my opinion, probably the best receiver core other than Cincinnati and the entire NFL. So I'm really excited to see what he can do with that. But he's also always had a top 10 offense. We've never seen him have to, put them on his back fully. So there is that. But I think, again, from a statistical standpoint, he's going to put up numbers. Everybody knows that. There's no doubt about that.
I've also got Dak. It feels kind of crazy having him in the top 10 and above some of these guys, but he does just have a really solid regular season every year. I truly think that if you took Dak and the entire Cowboys organization outside of Jerry Jones and Brian Schottenheimer and put them on another team, he would have Super Bowls. I think Jerry Jones himself just holds the entire team back. I think if you put that whole team in San Francisco or Green Bay, that'd be fantastic. It's just Jerry Jones has cursed that team somehow.
Baker Mayfield, number 8. There might be a little bias on there. Just love the dude. But everything we talked about Dak Prescott not being a leader, I think Baker Mayfield is a leader, and he gets the teams going. I think he has turned his career around, and this season's going to be on him. We talked about some of his offensive weapons, but they've had a ton of injuries with his receivers and Bucky Irving last year. So, and his offensive line. So if that can hold together, I definitely think he can be a top 5 quarterback.
Jalen Hurts, number 8. He wins. He wins a lot of games. He's the Super Bowl champion. He's been to the Super Bowl as well another time. I think he's right where he needs to be. I don't think he'll go any higher. I could see him coming back down a little bit lower. I'm anxious to see how he does without A.J. Brown's constant criticism this season. And I'm telling you, there's so much going on with that team. Evidently, people in the locker room don't really care for Jalen. So this could be its possibility. This is his last season in Philly. I don't think so, but anything's possible. The coach could be gone next year. It's a big year for Philadelphia and for Jalen.
Number 7, I've got Jordan Love. I think he's a phenomenal quarterback. I think if you look at him, you could kind of compare him to Aaron Rodgers. That guy, so far in his career, has never had a good receiver. His receivers have honestly been hot trash since ever he's been the starter. They've had a good tight end room, good running back, decent offensive line, a good defense, so that does help, obviously. But he's a quarterback who makes his receivers around him a lot better than they really are, and we've seen that. And I love LaFleur. They're in a tough division, but I do love the Green Bay Packers for a chance to win that division, and he would be a huge reason why. And I think he's still progressing in his career, so I'm excited from a fan standpoint, not from a Cowboys standpoint, to see how much better he gets.
I've got Caleb Williams. Feels honestly high, but it's just I think he's really good. I think he's got a great future ahead of him. He's got this great energy, and I think he just puts the team on his back and wins games. So I have really high hopes and expectations for him this season, and yeah, I think he's really good.
I got Drake May right here. Probably had him a little higher. Honestly, I'm not a massive fan of him, but he had a really good season last year. But it's kind of like Garrett said, the Patriots had the easiest strength of schedule last year. I think of all the quarterbacks that could drop the most, I'm going to put Drake May in that category. I just think they're maybe going to make the playoffs. There's so many distractions with all the stuff with Vrabel and everything. I think A.J. Brown is going to be in his ear hole when he doesn't throwing the ball enough. So I think there's a lot of issues probably going to happen with Drake May this year.
And I've got Jordan Love at 7. I like him as well. I don't think he's had a whole lot around him to throw to. I like the coaching staff there. It's a put up or shut up time for the Packers at some point. But he's in a division when Kyler Murray's the worst quarterback in the division. That's a pretty good division, right? So I think he's got a chance to be even better than what he is. I don't know if he'll ever go higher in the rankings, maybe 1-2 spots at the most. But I still don't think he's hit a ceiling yet. So I think he's got some good years in front of him.
Number 6, I've got Caleb Williams. I love the guy. If I could take one quarterback for my franchise right now, that would be the guy I would take. I think he's going to eventually have some Super Bowl rings under his belt. I think Ben Johnson's going to play a massive factor in that. But I think he's by far the most talented quarterback in the entire NFL. I think their defense is going to see huge improvement. I think when he came into the league, he had the best surrounding cast of all time as a number 1 pick. So I think that helps as well. But yeah, he's on the up and up. I would be shocked if he didn't rise on my rankings for next year. But I'm really, really excited to see the jump that he makes this year.
I've got Baker probably a little high, but obviously I love the guy. I think he's proved a lot of people wrong the past few years. And I think that this season, without having Evans or with the contract stuff, Baker Mayfield does his best work whenever everybody is doubting him. His back's against the wall. So I think we're going to see a really good season out of him. He was in conversation for MVP for a month or two last season. So I think he's going to have a really good season.
We got Jayden Daniels right here. I'd like to see how he, kind of like I mentioned with Caleb, I'd like to see him string some seasons together unhurt. I think he got hurt 3 different times last year. I think he's got immense amount of talent. We'll see how much Cliff Kingsbury made a difference for him as a rookie compared to not being there anymore. I think that probably has a big thing with it. But that division's pretty tough too. So it's going to be even tougher this year, I think. And so probably won't see the numbers he has just because they might go 0-6 in their own division. But I think he's an incredible talent.
I've got Justin Herbert. I like him a lot. He's probably a little higher than what he honestly should be, but I still think he's got potential. I think this is a big year for him, for Harbaugh, for the whole entire team. I think Harbaugh's usually, you start seeing difference in year 2. I think it'll be more this year. We'll see. I still think he's got the potential, but he's got to step up and he's got to lead this team. He's kind of the Dak Prescott of the AFC. Got a lot of potential, but he just can't get over that hump.
Into the top 5, I have Lamar Jackson at number 5. I think for me personally, this is where I would start my elite quarterbacks in the NFL. I don't know if anybody else would agree, but I got Lamar. I think he's a guy that I have Jayden super low because he's one-dimensional and can't get his arm improved, and I don't think he ever will. Lamar was the same way, but he has been incredible with his arm as well. I think he's gotten so much better than what he came into the league with of expectations. But I think he's a great quarterback. I really do. I think he's an elite quarterback, but I just don't. That's why I have him at 5, the worst elite quarterback on my rankings, because he can't beat these other guys. So that's why. He also, in his defense, has never had a great receiver. So he's also a quarterback similar to Jordan Love. He makes all his guys around him a lot better than they really are. But it's going to be interesting. New coaching staff, how does that impact it?
I've got Herbert at 5. I think my next pick will be where I begin the elite. I think Herbert's the best of the really good quarterbacks. He just needs to take
the great.
Exactly. He just needs to take one more step. He's tough. He's great quarterback, just hasn't done anything yet. I don't think he's had a whole lot to work with, but I think they are on the way up. I think especially with Harbaugh there, he's just going to continue to help him out. So I have high hopes for him, and we'll see at the end of the season.
When I was doing these rankings, looking at Mahomes, he's probably 1 or 2, but I'm going with the 2026 rankings. The reason why I put him at number 5, I definitely think he's one of the top 1 or 2 quarterbacks in the league. I think this is going to be by far his worst statistical season he's ever going to have. It hasn't been that long since he tore his ACL and LCL and JCL and ZCL, whatever, everything he tore. If he comes back and plays week 1, that'll be about one of the fastest recoveries of anybody. So I just don't, if he does come back, I just don't think he's going to be
the same.
They're going to protect him a lot, and he's going to hand the ball off. That's why they went and got Justin Fields. That's why they went and got Charbonnet, is because I don't think they're thinking he's going to be fully. And how do you heal during the season? And so anyway, so that's why I got him at number 5 this year.
I've got Lamar Jackson at 5. I think you're beginning to see the decline of him. I don't know if he's ever going to get back to what he was. I think he's still good, but now he did get hurt, but I hope I'm wrong, but I just feel like you're starting to see it, and he's going to start declining, and you're only going to see him go down from here in next year's rankings. Again, hope I'm wrong, but I think he's still a solid quarterback, but not the same.
Plus like 5 picks for Dad. I've been, why does he have this guy so high if he hates him so much?
I don't hate him. I think you've seen him decline, but I still think that he's better than all these other guys.
Number 4, I've got Matt Stafford. I think this dude is still a freak of a quarterback. I think he was the first in my, generation, but style of quarterback of just being able to throw the ball at some crazy angles, some different arm angles, and the no looks and everything like that. I think he's still top 4 quarterback in the NFL. I don't think that's going to see any change this year. To Clay's point earlier, they are by far the absolute best team in the entire NFL, best offense to go along with that as well. For them, it's for sure a Super Bowl or bust type of year, and I think they could make that run. But yeah, he's amazing. I think that's a guy for me. I always forget he came in as number 1 pick because I don't hear a lot about his college days, and that's usually what you hear about a lot from a number 1 pick.
I think you were like in 2nd grade when he came out.
Well, yeah. I hear a lot about fair point, but I do hear a lot of other guys who came in as a great college quarterback and didn't pan out. But yeah, I think he's great. I think he's phenomenal.
I've got Joe Burrow, another one of those guys that I just love. He just hasn't done much the last few years, mostly because of injuries. I really think if he has a healthy season, he's got probably the 2nd best receiving core in the league, in my opinion. But they have a terrible coach, and they've done nothing to put much else around him outside of receivers. So I just don't know if he's ever going to get much further until they help him. But I think he himself is an elite quarterback, and he's one of the best for sure.
I got Jalen Hurts at 4, just like somebody said it earlier. It's Todd that said the dude just wins. Whether people like him or not, he's just been nothing but great since he's been at Philadelphia. Won Super Bowl, MVPs, those type of things. The NFC East, 15 or 16 years, they haven't had a division champ repeat. He did it last year with his team. And so it's just hard to not think of him as an elite quarterback, despite whatever skills he doesn't look like he has or doesn't have. He just keeps winning.
I've got Matt Stafford. Other than this bad haircut of his, he's a fantastic quarterback regardless, and still. And Garrett, early on in his career, he was known as a China doll because he got hurt all the time. And then all of a sudden, he's been one of the most reliable, durable quarterbacks since then. Got to stay healthy, but he's still elite. And he's an older quarterback. He's elite. He's got weapons around him. He's got the best coach probably in the NFL, at least one of the top 2 coaches in the NFL. Next, probably Andy Reid. I'm excited to see him again for another year. Their chips are all in with him and with his team. We'll see how they do.
Number 3, I have Josh Allen. I think an amazing quarterback, an elite quarterback. The reason I have him at 3, his MVP year was a total fluke. He didn't deserve it. Everybody knows that. He only got it because his fans and him were crying about it. And everyone knows he's not winning a Super Bowl, so they need to give him something. But again, why I have him below is he's been in his career, he's always been in arguably one of, if not the worst division in the NFL. So that's an automatic 6 wins on your schedule. But he has proven to be able to make some runs in the playoffs. He's a dual threat from the sense of filthy arm talent, an amazing runner. I think it'll be interesting another year under the new coaching staff to see how that impacts it. But yeah, I think he's an elite quarterback. I love him, but that is why I have him lower than the next couple on my list specifically.
I've got Lamar Jackson here. I think he's just incredible. He's the full package with the mobility, and like Gary said earlier, he's improved his arm a lot. I think new coach could change things for him. The only thing is, I think as good as he is, last year was his opportunity to win a Super Bowl. You got to do it when the guy that's been running the show doesn't even make the playoffs. And he didn't do it last year, so I don't know if it's ever going to happen. But I do think he is just outstanding, though.
I got Joe Burrow right here. I think he is the absolute best passer in the NFL. He obviously can zing it, throwing it, what they're calling it now with the new word, throwing seeds. And but he does have some good receivers, but I think those receivers are good because I got Joe Burrow throwing to him too. So I think he's just about as good as they come. I would really like to see, because really the season that he made it through the whole season and they didn't have injury problems, they made it to the Super Bowl. So we'll hopefully that can happen for him sooner than later.
I've also got Joe Burrow at 3. I think he's fantastic. And again, if he could just stay healthy for entire season, he's starting to put warning signs out there. Not really warning, but pushing, saying some things. Don't be surprised if he tries to force a trade after this season. I don't know if they'd even do it, but he's tired of it. He wants them to get some players around him, and we'll see. Hopefully he gets his way. I wouldn't be surprised if you see him take over for Matt Stafford at the Rams someday.
Well, they did just pick a quarterback in the first round, but potentially.
They'll trade everything again for him.
He's an Ohio boy. He won't leave.
Number 2, I've got Joe Burrow, as everyone said. Absolutely love him. I think he really is the best quarterback in the entire NFL. But, and this is the first one, in my opinion, that organization stinks. And there's no reason they should have the number 2 quarterback in the NFL, but he has made that the case. I think he's the best quarterback. I think he's got a tough division. He's got no offensive line, still doesn't have an offensive line, has no defense, still has no defense. And so it's still going to be an uphill battle for him, but I would love to have him on my team. And I think I would like to put him at 1, but again, until we see him actually do it and win the big thing, I don't think the 1 should be reserved for people who have proven they can actually win the big game.
I've got Mahomes at 2. Obviously, out of anybody on this list, he is the best of all time of anybody on this current list. But I think he was already on pace. He was going to miss the playoffs before that injury happened. Now he's also recovered from the injury. So I think he's kind of been on a little bit of a decline. Kelsey's gotten older. His receivers haven't been the same. His runners haven't been the same. And I think that's kind of exposed a little bit of him. Still think he's phenomenal, but I think if you're missing the playoffs, you don't deserve the number 1 spot the next year. Obviously, he's still a great quarterback, though.
Lamar Jackson, I think not a whole lot different than what you guys have said. The dude, he's so improved his passing over the year. He's a good running quarterback and all that kind of stuff. But he's missed a lot of opportunities with some really good teams. So I disappointed in his career overall, but the dude is still incredible.
I've got Patrick Mahomes. I think he's still elite. He's one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. He's got championships to back it up. He's got Super Bowl appearances. He's had Andy Reid with him, but I still think if you put him on the Dallas Cowboys and swap places with Dak, I think he may get Dallas into the Super Bowl. Only reason he wouldn't is because Jerry Jones would screw it up. But I think he's still elite. I think he's incredible. He's going to have a tougher year this year because he's not going to be able to play all year, but it's also that first year back. Players are just not the same. So we'll see a difference in him.
The number 1, we finally made it. Number 1 for me, I've got Patrick Mahomes. I think coming from a guy who is a huge Kansas City Chiefs hater, a huge Patrick Mahomes hater. This was hard for me, but I think last year, if they would have made the playoffs, which they were on track to, they were going to sneak in. It was going to be close, but they probably would have pulled it out. I think they go to the Super Bowl. I don't think they win it, but I think they for sure go to the Super Bowl because without him last year, you saw how bad the rest of the quarterbacks honestly actually are. If you got Drake May making it and the likes of Josh Allen, Lamar, and all of them not. So I think he would have ran away there. But I do think this is the last year we're going to see him at number one. For me, to y'all's points, Travis Kelce's getting older. I don't think a lot of receivers they don't have a lot of receivers coming in, and a lot of receivers for some reason just don't seem to want to go there. Offensive line is getting older as well. Defensively, they're pretty solid. That's really what they've hung their hat on the last few years. But yeah, I do have him at number one because until someone can actually beat him on a consistent basis in the playoffs and in the Super Bowl, I don't think there's any reason a number one quarterback should not have a Super Bowl ring. I think you have to have that to be able to classify as the best quarterback in the entire league, which kind of contradicts my ranking of Sam Darnold being at 20, but that's how I feel. So that's why I've got Patrick Mahomes still at number one, as much as I hated doing it.
I've got Josh Allen. I think he is the ultimate package. He's got mobility, but he's got size. He's got strength. His arm is incredible. I think out of any quarterback on this list, he's done the most with the least. A lot of guys will always say, well, they just never had a good team around him. Well, I don't think he's ever had a great team around him, and he's done a lot. I also, unfortunately, think he's in a similar boat as Lamar, of if he didn't win it last year, I don't know if he ever will now. They maybe if they put the right team around him, but when you don't have to go through Mahomes, that's your time to shine. So it's kind of weird to put him at number one, but I do think he is the best quarterback.
I'm saying with Josh Allen, they got him DJ Moore this year. James Cook has been running the ball well for him. I think Josh Allen is an elite passer, elite runner, so it's hard not to put him number one. Hadn't made it, obviously, to the Super Bowl, but I think of all the quarterbacks on this list, except for maybe Mahomes, but if you took Josh Allen off of the Bills and gave them anybody ranked 5 to 32, they had made the playoffs. And Josh Allen's the only one they made the playoffs because of Josh Allen.
I've got Josh Allen at one as well. Best quarterback in the football currently today. I also agree with the fact that I don't know if he'll win a Super Bowl. According to my rankings that I have, he won't win a Super Bowl unless he gets traded or goes to another team. He won't win it with the Bills. That's unfortunate. But I still think he's the reason why, like Clay just said, they've been so relevant the last several years. And he puts it out on the line. He runs the ball. He throws the ball. The guy is always moving. Big, strong guy. But I think he's number one. If I were starting a team today, he would be my quarterback. Now, if I was looking that's basically for the future, near future. If I was starting from, for a longevity standpoint, he may not be the guy. There may be some younger guys in there, Caleb Williams, but still, regardless, he's number one. I think he's well deserving.
Well, here is the consensus, the average rankings of what the top 10 of what we curated with all of our rankings. I think most of us would be pretty happy. Most of us would agree with this list. I think, for instance, I know Clay had Jalen quite a bit higher. I know Kellen had Baker quite a bit higher. But overall, whenever you look at the total rankings, this is the Foxx Den Sports top 10. Anything stand out or shock you whenever you look at this?
No. I think Stafford's pretty high for me personally, but mainly because of age. But outside
that
of that,
was the only one that stood out.
Solid.
That's pretty much the top 10.
Yeah, I think most of us had the same players, just arguably different orders roughly, but yeah. And then we got the biggest disagreements between us. I think Jayden Daniels, me having him at 21 and then Clay having him at 6. Clay is obviously a lot higher than me on Jayden Daniels. I think, honestly, if you look at the next player, we really just flip-flopped between Jayden and Jordan Love with the same reasoning, too, I think. That was surprising. I don't know, Clay, if you were shocked when you saw Jayden Daniels come up at 21, but I was shocked when I saw Jordan Love come up at 21 for you. And then Sam Darnold, Kellen and I the biggest gap on that one, 22 versus 10. Again, going against the methodology and my logic for the last however many years we've been doing this, he should have been higher on my rankings, and I think that's why Kellen had him at 10. But yeah, 22 for me, I just never been that impressed. And I'm realizing most of these are because I'm a little bit more extreme. Bro Nix, I'm way higher than everybody else. And then Jared Goff, I'm also way higher than everybody else. So I guess I was the one that had some crazy outliers.
All right,
sometimes
cool.
it's hard. To me, sometimes these are hard to differentiate quarterbacks from fantasy football rankings. And that's probably where on Jayden Daniels, I probably put him a little bit high. I've seen some leagues have him ranked as number 2 or 3, 4 in the quarterback rankings for fantasy football. Because he scores points, does that mean he's the number 4 quarterback? Probably not. But so sometimes that's where I have a hard time. Yeah, this guy, I'd draft him and was one of my top quarterbacks, but maybe not if I was drafting an NFL team.
Yeah, the fans would like to thank Garrett for putting this together. Good job, Garrett. A very good job of putting all this information together for everybody.
Very nice.
Fantastic job. For the Foxx Den Sports Podcast, I am the Podfather, and we want to remind everyone to stay savage and not average. One other thing I want to tell you all is make sure you're subscribing to our YouTube channel. Take a look at us on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. Look at it. We're ranked. I've got the best quarterbacks for each. Well, not best quarterbacks, best players with each number. Right now, today's 13 days out from the NFL start. Dan Marino and Kurt Warner representing jersey number 13. So take a look at that as well. But for everybody, have a good evening. Goodbye, buddy. Boomer.
Sooner. Also next week.
Thank you for listening to the Foxx Den Sports Podcast. Be sure to subscribe for free to our YouTube channel, Foxx Den Sports. And also follow us on Instagram and Twitter at Foxx Den Sports and on Facebook at Foxx Den Sports Podcast. You can also email us at foxdensports@yahoo.com. This has been Foxx Den Sports.